Hello, welcome. My name is Tracy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Australia. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I have a really great tutorial on this handbag. It measures 4 inches by 4 inches by 2 inches, so it's not really quite that small. It can fit quite a fair bit in there, so it'd be great for a treat pouch, or you could even put a little present in there, whether it be jewellery or something small. When I first made this one, I showed my 17-year-old and my 20-year-old, and they thought it would make a really great Easter egg basket for kids to go around and collect eggs with. So you could change this around to make a really cute Easter basket. I've made 2, and we're going to make this lovely lipstick one today. So the supplies for this project today is the Bloom by Bloom stamp set, and that's for this decoration here on the handbag. I've also used the stitched all around framelets. So if you haven't bought these yet, you haven't been following my tutorials, because I use these all the time. And look at this extra detail. Does that come up? So it's on there and also on the top. So it really does look like a handbag. The inks are Lovely Lipstick, Call Me Clover, Calypso Coral and Night of Navy. We have the Night of Navy Baker's Twine. I'm using brads, and these aren't Stampin' Up, but I've been doing craft for over 20 years and I've had these in my stash, and they just worked so well with the colours. They're nice and bright. Yep. And I also have my card kit here. Now all the measurements and supplies can be found over on my blog, and that's in the description of this video. There's also a link there to my online store if you would like to purchase anything and you live in Australia. If you are purchasing through me, please use that hostess code so I can send you out a free gift. Okay, so we're going to start off. We have a full piece of A4 cardstock, and the Designer Series paper measures 12 inches by 4 inches, so you can get 3 handbags out of one piece of 12 by 12, which is a really great saving. We have a piece of Whisper White, which is our stamped images here, and a piece of Night of Navy for the back label. So we're going to start off, and I'm just going to move these right to the side. We're starting off with our piece of 12 by 12, piece of A4, sorry. So I'm going to bring in the Stampin' trimmer, and I thought it was easier to show you how to cut down your piece of A4 rather than just having those pieces already cut. So we're going to start off first with the bottom edge of our bag here, and that actually measures the full length, but we're cutting it off at 1/2 inch. So that gives us this strip. Okay, so I'm going to pop that to the side. The next one we're going to do is that top edge, the top strip here. And what we want to do first is we're going to score it in half so we can fold over. So we're going to score at the 1/2 inch mark. So score it all the way down. And then we're going to move it over to the 1 inch area and cut that off. So that's the top of our bag. The next bit are our 2 handles. So we need 2 of those. And we're also going to score, because these are folded over, we're going to score that in before we cut it off. So we're going over to the 1/2 inch. Let's just do that. And then we're going to move it over to the 1 inch, and we're going to cut that off, and that'll be 1 handle. Okay, and let's do that again. So we're going to move over to the 1/2 inch using the score. Move that scoring blade, and then cutting it off at the 1 inch mark. So we have 2 handles. We're going to bring those handles back in because we only need them to be 10 inches. So let's cut off at 10 inches. So we have 2 at 10 by 1 inch. They're our handles. And the last thing that we need is the bottom of the bag. So we have, it's a box, and then we create the bag. So for that box, that measures 5.5 by 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off at 5.5 inches. And then at 4 inches. So what's left of our A4 piece is these pieces here. So you've still got a fair bit left over. Now with our bottom of our bag, we're going to score that at 1 inch on all 4 sides. I'm just going to do that now while I have the blade out, while I have the trimmer out. Okay. Let's bring everything back in. The 2 bags. So we have all our pieces here. We're going to make the box first. I'm just going to fold on all those score lines. And it's just a normal box, so we're going to cut up to that score line. I'm also just going to take a little bit out of that notch, just so it goes together a little bit easier. I'm going to do the opposite corners opposite sides as well. And it's as easy as popping some glue down on our 4 tabs. So let's do that really quickly. I think the hardest thing about this box is the stitching, making sure that that stitching stays on the Big Shot properly. So let's just fold these all in. Try not to get glue all over my hands like I usually do. Makes everything really sticky. So just holding for a couple of seconds, that's all it needs. Isn't this lovely lipstick gorgeous colour? Very, very pretty. Okay, so we have our little box ready to go. I'm going to pop that to the side. Let's bring the Big Shot in and we'll do all our stitching. That die set has 2 stitching dies and we're going to use the crisscross pattern. So I've got the bottom piece and then that top piece. So these both measure the full length of the A4. So let's pop that in and we want the stitching to go along one of the edges. Now if this lifts, you might be better off using your magnetic platform or some washi tape. Run this one through, and we have to run it through a few times just to get that length done. How pretty does that look? Okay, let's keep going with along. And if you're making quite a few of these, maybe you don't do all the stitching, I don't know. Depends on how much time you have. But I think it really does give that extraness to it. That's not a word. So that's that one. So it took 3 goes through the Big Shot to get that all done. The next one we're going to bring is that top piece. And we're just going to go along one of the edges, the same as we've just done. So the other one goes on the inside, so we don't have to worry about that. And there's that top of the bag with the stitching along there. Now while we have the big shot out, we're also going to use this die and cutting out with the Night of Navy. So let's just pop that one through really quickly. And then we can get rid of the big shot. Okay, so there we have that little label ready to go. So let's pop our bag together, and we start off with the designer series paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a length of the tear and tape, and I highly recommend using the tear and tape. Don't try and use anything else. You really want something that's going to make sure it sticks down really well. We're just going to run that along that designer series paper and also along one edge. Let's take that bottom piece off. We're going to start in the middle of the back piece, and we want to make sure that it's right along that edge. Following that edge all the way around. And you don't really want to pinch so much, you just want it to go round naturally. I'm going to just run a little bit of tear and tape along this edge as well. That way it's got double strength of keeping it all together. So we'll take off both sides. Okay, so let's line this one up. And pushing that one down as well. And I find if you just lay it down and push down on that bottom of that box, that will also make sure that it's secured really well. So I like the look that, you know, we haven't got defined edges, it's more of a rounded bag. Okay, so let's bring in that bottom piece, and I'm going to place some tear and tape along that one as well. We're just going to run that along the bottom of that box. Starting at the back at the same time, you want it all to meet at the back. So once you've got your pieces ready to go, it comes along really quite quickly. And you can either chop off where it meets or just overlap them. I don't care if it overlaps. Okay, so there's our bottom of our bag. Doesn't that give it some really great detail? The next one we're going to do is that top piece. So we're going to fold that over and score it, or burnish it, sorry. And this is probably the trickiest part of the whole lot. So we're going to run some tear and tape on the inside of that one. and also the other side. So one side attaches to the inside of your bag and the other one attaches to the outside. So I'm going to start with the piece that we die cut, so the front piece, again starting from the back. And just moving that all the way around. I'm going to put a little bit on the inside just so it's got, keeps that down just that little bit better. And then we just want to unravel this one and folding that over. Coming along really nicely, isn't it? So let's bring our handles in and we're going to just fold and score them ones as well. And running a piece of the tear and tape along the middle of each one and just sticking that one down. Before we do that, what we want to do is these end bits here. So let's bring in the paper trimmer again, and we're just going to mark at the 1 inch mark. Okay. Using my stylus and just a ruler, I'm going to take that mark from that middle bit to the end just to create that little handle end. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to fold those out. If you stick your finger in, fold these two together and flatten this out, that gives you that great little ending. Okay, so in the middle of those two score marks, we're going to place some tear and tape. And let's just stick those down. Okay, so now we're ready to stick our handles on. So I've found with using the bone folder just to create a nice little, just folds it around really nicely. Gives that curved look to it. Okay. So I'm going to bring my piece mat in, and I want to just place a hole in the middle of each of those handles. And then on our bag, we want our handles to be just around here. So I'm just going to place a hole same length, and then we can attach our handles with our brads. So let's pop our brads through our handle. Closing our back end. Okay, so that's one side. Let's pop it over and we'll do the other side. Okay, let's make our little decoration for the bag. So my little piece of Whisper White, that's what we're going to stamp on. I have my stamps all here ready to go. Let's bring in the colours. We need Night of Navy, and we're going to stamp that large flower, so this one here. Then we're going to bring in this one that's going to go in the middle of our Night of Navy flower. That's going to be Calypso Coral. They've done really well Stampin' Up with these colours here. I absolutely love the bright, bold colours. Let's stamp that in the middle. Didn't do very well, but that's okay. Now we have the lovely lipstick. We're going to stamp this little tiny flower, and it's going to be cut out and put on the top. And lastly, we just need some leaves with the Call Me Clover. I like this bright green as well. Green apple green's definitely my favourite green, but Call Me Clover is very pretty as well. Okay. Now we're just going to fussy cut these pieces out. Okay, so our little tag goes together. I'm going to put a little mini glue dot on that little tiny flower and stick it to the bigger flower, just to give that little bit of a pop. And then I'm going to stick some glue to the back. Let's bring in one that's already done. So let's attach these with some glue. Which is why I've left just a little bit on the end of those leaves, just so I can attach a little bit better. I'm going to pop that one up with some dimensionals to attach to this label here. Tag. Okay. There we go. Now using some baker's twine, I'm going to just attach that through the top there. And attach it to my handle there. I'm feeling very uncoordinated today. Cut off those ends. And it's our tag. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. If you have, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to leave me a comment. All the measurements and supplies can be found over my blog, and that's in the link of this video. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye.